Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another Friday and welcome to another edition of On the Needle. So, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Amy Winehouse has become one of my most favorite artists since her untimely death in 2011. At that time, she was only 27 years old. She was at the peak of her fame, and I really believe that had she lived, she would have seen even greater success. And I will say, in all transparency, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to her when she was alive. I did like the Rehab song. I think everybody loves that song. And thought that song was catchy, it was cool, but I had never really paid too much attention to her until I heard this song called Valerie that she did. And I was just mesmerized by that song. Still to this day, love it, love it, love it. And I just thought, okay, let me go back and, dig in the crates here and see what other music that she has. So for me and vinyl, I kind of have a limit of what I'll pay. So if you're a vinyl collector, you really can't buy a record for less than $20. If it's a new record that's not used, um, and it's not like an EP that sometimes people release on vinyl. So just throwing those caveats out there. But if it's a standard full length album, fresh out of the packaging, you're probably not going to pay less than $20 for it. With that said, I feel like depending on the album, I will typically pay in upwards of $50, but really $50 is my max. So for this album, for me to have bought this is Amy Winehouse at the BBC in London. It is a 3 album set or a project, and I paid about $60 for it. So I felt like it was justified because it's kind of like $20 per record, and I love it. This is one of my favorite albums. I hate that it's a little frayed here because when I got it, it was brand new, but moving and a little careless mishandling, yeah, it's not quite as pristine as it once was, but still great nonetheless. So here is the track listing. I will show y'all on the back in case you have not heard it. So it is a live performance that she does, and so it's, of course, it has Rehab on here, and then there's also different versions of the performance. So technically, some of these songs do repeat. So like the song I said, Valerie, that I really enjoy, she is singing that here on one track at the Joe Wiley Live Lounge, which was in 2007. And then again, that same year, there's another version of her singing it at live at Portchester Hall. So that song's on here. Me and Mr. Jones is another one of my favorites. I think that her songwriting ability was really underrated. Her voice was unique. It was gritty. It was kind of smoky. You could even hear the pain, I think, in her voice, and much like on the R&B front with Mary J. Blige. Even if it's a happy song, I would say up until maybe about the last maybe 2-3 years or so, even if Mary J. Blige is doing a happy song, you kind of can still feel that grit and that anger in her music. And I feel like Amy Winehouse is the same. They're kind of torn from the same cloth in that way. Tears Dry on Their Own. Oh, whew, that's one of my favorites too. That one, I was a little disappointed on the album because it is one of my favorites, and it's not one of the ones that's repeated. So she only does it one time on this record, and that's at the Portchester Hall as well. So it's comprised of these different performances from Jules Holland, the big band special, live at Portchester Hall, Tea in the Park. I don't know where any of these places are, just FYI, I guess they're places in London. Leicester, I believe, Summer Sunday, Hootenanny, Mercury Prize, later with Jules Holland. So basically, it's a compilation of all of these live performances. And although she doesn't have the, I would say, maybe vocal ability of someone, it's like a Yeba or even a Beyonce or Adele, her voice is still amazing to me, and it really has a unique texture and feel to it. So this album was released on vinyl in 2021, and I think when I found it, it was probably that same year, if I'm not mistaken. So I just kind of stumbled upon it at the record store, and I just thought, okay, I got to get this. So what's really cool is she has, the writing credits here. So of course, as I mentioned, she's a great songwriter. She also collaborated with Salam Remy, who is, in my opinion, one of the most underrated producers. I love Salam Remy. I think that he produces great music. So you have these photos that are here. There's several photos of her at the various live performances. Now it is a pretty thick vinyl, but it's not colored, it's black. So your standard black vinyl there. So that's one of them. And then if we kind of open this up a little bit more, then you have, of course, more pictures. I love this red and kind of purple color scheme here too. I think that's pretty cool. And then, some of these are, maybe just candid shots or different photo shoots that she's done that are here as well. And then more pictures of live performances and track listings, things of that nature. So yeah, pretty good. So like I said, I love Amy Winehouse, love this album, and I love this quote that spreads across the fold when you unfold the whole thing, which I'll show here in a minute. But it says, and this is from Dan Cairns. Carnes? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. She was shy, warm, funny, cheeky, complicated, a mass and a mess of contradictions, affectionate, loyal, a tricky customer when she chose to be, occasionally too hot to handle. So I think that's pretty cool for to sum up someone's legacy. So it starts here and then it progresses. And then as you can see, this is the last fold there. So audibly, aesthetically, I love this album. I think, like I said, it's one of my favorites, and I really like Amy Winehouse, and I feel like I'm probably not the only one who got into her music after her death. And the interesting thing too, when she died, I feel that she did not get the benefit of that many artists have the benefit of now. Is it's amazing to me how far the discussion on mental health has come within the last decade plus or so. Because in 2011, it was still maybe frowned upon, or maybe people kind of looked at you a little funny if you went to therapy. I currently go to therapy and I think it's great. I've started going now within the last like a year or so. And I think one of the common misconceptions is, oh, there has to be something incredibly tragic in your life going on in order for you to see a therapist. And that's not the case at all. If anything, I feel like it's a preventative measure so that you don't, or that you do have the tools to work with if something tragic and when something tragic does happen, or something that's hard to deal with. So with that said, I don't know if she ever did seek any methods like that, and maybe, just the addiction just kind of took over or won ultimately. But I will say that I do wish that she was still around in today's time and climate around mental health, because I do think she probably could have had a good chance of getting the help that she needed to continue to make music, and even more importantly than that, just to be okay mentally. So again, love this album, love Amy Winehouse. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, if you've heard it, or some of your favorite Amy Winehouse songs. So as always, thank you all for tuning in to On the Needle. And also don't forget my sister channel, the Water Bearer Podcast. We just released an episode this week, episode 8, and we only have 2 more episodes to go for this season. So this Thursday coming up, and the following week, actually on Wednesday, going a little off script for the season finale, that will air on December 13th instead of the 14th, that Thursday. But make sure you tune in to that as well, and everyone have a safe and great weekend. Peace.